Oh, we are suddenly live. Okay. Happens so
That works
fast.
out nicely.
Okay, let's open up, I don't have Discord open, do I? Let's open up Discord. Promote ourselves a little bit.
Do you?
What's that?
You said I don't have Discord open. I said I don't know. Do you? Also,
I don't.
Twitch needs an update. Really?
Really, Twitch? No one wants to update you.
Do you play the videos and can I chat while you play the videos? Yes? Then stop updating. Thank you.
Alright. TVGP. Alright, let's copy all these questions, get them pasted here in the show notes. And we'll clear formatting. There we go.
She looks so happy.
Just super pumped to be hanging out with Cat Dad.
Well, she does this thing where, like, whenever I'm not in the same room as her, like, I think we talked about it several times, like, she cannot stand the fact that I'm not, like, if she knows I'm home, she cannot stand the fact that she can't see us.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where when she sits outside this room, I think you saw the photos when we first moved in here, of the Jess photo took, of like me in here with the door locked and Louise literally asleep in the door.
Yeah, like just curled up next to the door.
Sherlock doesn't care. He'll care in about an hour or two when it's feeding time, but he doesn't care right now.
He's too much of a cat. He doesn't really care.
Yeah, he is asleep on the bed right now, knowing him.
It's not a word I know how to spell.
Should I even ask?
We'll talk about it in releases.
Okay.
Alright. Hello everyone in chat. How's everyone doing? Going?
Dugong.
How's everyone in listening to us as part of Outcasts? You hear me tippy-tappy typing, doing show notes.
Yep, and you'll hear me vippy-vappy vaping, doing vaping notes. That's my second good vaping joke in 2 days. I'm really pleased with myself.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I like it. It comes out on PC and PS4 for now, probably.
Oh no! Louise doesn't get to be in the stream. What a shame. It cuts off at...
Oh. Here, I'll show everyone as part of pre-show. Drag up here. Hi, Louise. Drag back down. She's there.
Yep.
Well, I might actually be try and do something funny here.
Do you want me to scooch down so you can just cut the top off?
Nope. I'm just gonna put small.
If you type in "and Louise,"
no. Put a small little cat cam there.
Louise is the pre-show.
Yeah. Oh wow, Death Road to Canada is coming out on Switch. Interesting. Hey there, Coach Jamal.
What that is.
It's a randomly generated action RPG where it's like a car full of zombie survivors is trying to make it to Canada. It looked pretty cool, but I never saw that it had come out.
Is this similar to Oregon Trail with zombies?
That is Oregon Trail. I don't know if you've seen that on Steam.
I didn't know it was called Oregon Trail, which is actually kind of good.
Yeah.
I typed the wrong thing in chat. I meant to type that.
Hey, you're blocking Louise. Come on here, man.
I'm sorry, the star of the show.
Yeah, cat cam is important.
Who also, funnily enough, makes a guest appearance in the next episode of ODNF.
Yes, that was... It's probably the clearest meow I've heard from her, probably thanks to Levelator, but it's funny that you and Jess are just sort of sitting there talking, and in the background... Like, oh, hey, man.
That's what she does.
Alright, let's do show notes. Did you watch the trailer for The Legend of Bumbo?
I did not know I meant to, and I completely forgot all about it.
Yeah, it looks pretty great. It's a match 4 puzzle game.
Is that going to be a... I'm guessing it's obviously going to come to Switch.
Man, what did he say on Twitter? He said it's PC, obviously. It looks like he partnered with a publishing house to put it out on iOS and Android. I don't think it's day and date, but I think it's pretty soon. And then he said Switch later after that. Obviously, it's going to be published by Nicholas, so you know it'll have to be on Switch at some point.
Yes, it'll have to be on Switch, and then it'll never come to the Xbox because you know.
Yep.
I mean,
that's over.
The funny thing is like people give me a fair amount of stick being like, well, you only play stuff when it comes to Xbox. It's like, no, it's because like I want to be able to sit there and play it in the format I choose to or I prefer to, which is the Xbox. But then also, like I've said before, like I absolutely adore achievements, and when I get that 1001 Platinum God achievement in Isaac, I will be bouncing off the walls. I'm sure similar to the way you did when you got that sweet plat.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I was just gonna look at what the percentage of the platinum for that game is now, because I'm sure it's still ridiculously low.
I'm so glad I did not press a shortcut that could have messed up my recording, because that would be dumb.
Yeah, that would be not great.
I pressed Alt W instead of Windows. Sorry, Alt X instead of Windows X.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
I only got 24% of trophies in Prey.
I got 100% of achievements in Prey.
Man, so good.
Yeah, it was.
Platinum is now up to 0.9%.
Oh, wow. I bet your mine's lower.
1001% is now up to 0.3%. What's the last trophy? 1,000,001 in which is subtitled "Just Stop," is now at 0.1%.
Platinum God on the Xbox is 0.73%.
Nice. That's higher than I would have thought.
Me too. I guess it's the cult of personality. I think the only other achievement on this is a 0.42%. Which I don't know what that achievement is because it's a secret.
Oh, I bet that's 1001.
True achievements. Hello. Which I love how great True Achievements is. Like, not only is it like I think it started as a really good statistical like site, like for what are your achievements actually worth kind of thing, but they've actually done really well with like op-eds and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like they've done so much good work in regards to not just achievements but gaming in general, and their immediate jumping into the world of trophies when they did TrueTrophies.com is them as well.
Yeah, I'm hooked up to True Trophies. It's a pretty good site. I like when a group of people are so passionate about one specific thing like that. Like, I care about trophies and achievements, and that's about it. Like, obviously they want to play good games, but it's sort of fun to see somebody say, like, well, this game is, you know, it's about 4 hours, and if you just sort of skip cutscenes, you can get, you know, 1,000 gamer score on it, and then that's pretty fine. It's like, that's kind of a cool metric.
Yeah, like for me, it's also like the fact that they've actually given, because everybody was like, well, it's only gamerscore, you don't know how much it's actually worth. It actually gives you a quantifiable thing. Like, look at some of. Let me actually just go to my homepage really quick because I love the fact that it has this feature like on the homepage of your account. It tells you what the rarest things you've got is, and it's usually from stuff you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that list the other day. Let me pull it up on mine for my trophies.
My rarest game, shock of shocks, is NBA Live 15. That's the game that has the most true achievement score for me, because nobody played that game, and I still somehow got the 1000G somehow. But like SSX, the remake, that amazing, incredible, truly great the reboot of the SSX series is like my second rarest games.
Weird. Alright, so my rarest is Platinum for Binding of Isaac. That's not surprising. I got that on the 13th of December 2015.
Oh, wow.
Actually, the first 1, 2, 4, 7 are Platinum. Here's the list. These are kind of funny. Battle Chasers Night War. Ni no Kuni 2. Persona 5. Dragon Age Inquisition.
But you got the plot on Inquisition.
I did. That was really fun.
Dude.
That was actually really fun because
was that before DLC?
Yes. But I had a lot of fun playing it through on the hardest difficulty, actually.
I always love that kind of stuff. Like, I love being forced to think outside the box and not just smash the bunch of buttons. It's
in YouTube chat, Xbox Chivo Ho, which is apparently Moonbeer's wife, asks, "Why does Louise have her own window? Because she's the cutest."
Yes, because she's asleep on the chair right next to me.
Yeah. I got the Platinum in Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, because that game is great.
Does that include the multiplayer?
It does. I had some very nice members of the TVGP community hang out with me and grind some multiplayer trophies.
That's the one that killed me in that. Like, I think I got the full gamer score for the single player, but by the time I was playing it, it was like 6 months after it came out.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer was just dead.
I got the Platinum in Watch Dogs. Which
I know this.
I don't think I realized.
Yes, you deliberately went out of your way to do that, because when you were talking about it on the show, you were like, yo, Watch Dogs is really good, I might get the Platinum, and then you did.
I liked Watch Dogs. It's not a great game, but I like it.
I got the full 1000 in it as well, so
yeah,
I can't say anything.
What else do I have in here? 1001 in Binding, Diablo 3 Platinum, beat the 6th chamber in Enter the Gungeon, Platinum God and Real Platinum God for Isaac. Yeah, and a lot of other Platinums. Okay,
so the achievements I've got left in Isaac, including the secret ones, are Challenges, Platinum God, Real Platinum God. And then Deep Pockets and Karma, which it's kind of understandable why they're secret achievements, because that's the items you get rewarded.
Right.
Which is kill kill Blue Baby with the Keeper and kill the Lamb with the Keeper.
Right, that makes sense.
And then the last one I've got is 1001%.
That's not too bad. Those are all trophies that'll like happen within a week.
Yeah, once one tumbles, well, let's just say, once the Keeper one tumbles, everything else will tumble afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was going to do. Where's my thing gone? No, up. Stupid mouse. My homepage.
Oh, thank you very much, Coaster Mall.
Yes, thank you, Coaster Mall. That's Boston playing around.
That should be aligned again. I'm screwing around with how everything looks in the live stream.
Yes.
I screw around too much.
Yes, you do. Let's see. My best achievements. Ain't Afraid of No Ghosts, which is the Sorcerer's Multiball on Pinball FX, is the rarest achievement I have.
Wow.
Because it's a free game, and that's one of the achievements you get that's installed in the free base game.
Right.
So everybody who ever purchased that game is technically regarded as being played it, whereas not everybody's going to get that achievement.
Speaking of pinball, I won't talk about it during the show, but I did reinstall Pinball Arcade this week on my PS4, and I've been playing, like, as a really good break from the other stuff I'm playing, I've been playing, like, I will play 2 games of Medieval Madness, and then I will go back to whatever else I was playing.
I really love Pinball Arcade, but I think they're priced way too high for my liking.
Yeah, like, I was looking, I have the first... I think on PS4, I think they eventually dropped support. I'll have to look it up while we're talking. But I have, like, the first 3 seasons, 3 or 4 seasons, and there's, like, 7 seasons out now, and I was like, oh. Oh, hello, I'm another cat. I can fly, too. See you later.
I love the fact that his face was actually in the Louise cam.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was looking, and one of my favorite pinball machines of all time is, like, Red and Ted's, I don't even remember, but it has 2 big heads on the thing. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Maybe I'll just buy that whole season. The table by itself is like $7, and the season is $30. I was like,
yeah.
Well, I can't afford that. Like,
yeah,
that's all.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to close the door over.
Sure. Where are there Pinball Arcade? You're killing me.
And yes, that is my biggest problem with Pinball Arcade, is just how high those stuff is priced. I get it, they have to pay for the licenses because they're all licensed tables.
Yeah.
I understand where they're coming from, but kind of the whole thing with it is they kickstart most of them. I don't know if they're still doing it. But for
they
the
were
longest
for a
time,
while, yeah.
They did the whole Kickstarter thing, and it's like, I love the mechanics, I love the physics on it, but my goodness, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I can afford $30 for 5 tables every 4 months or whatever it is.
Yeah. And I mean, whenever I look at that, I say, this is a really cool thing that is no longer for me. Like, if you're a super huge pinball fan, you're probably buying all of these because it's a really great, accurate representation of each table.
Yeah.
But if you're a guy like me, like, you want Medieval Madness, and
maybe 5 other tables.
Yeah, like a handful of other tables you loved as a kid, like that.
So Medieval Madness, Black Knight 2000.
Yep. I'm trying to see if I can find the table here on the list.
The one with the head, the taxi one, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Taxi's good. Where is it? This list is not very good.
No.
Yeah, Gorgar I really like as a really old table.
Oh, I hate that table so much.
It's fast. That's my other problem with Taxi, is Taxi's really fast.
I love a fast table, but I hate a fast table that's got a bunch of framps, which...
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with that term. The first time I ever heard it was the No Quarters podcast, but that is my favorite term when it comes to describing a pinball table, is a framp.
Yeah.
Where it's a ramp where 90% of the time it will drop the ball directly down the middle of the flippers. Yeah. So it's referred to as a fuck you ramp, so a framp.
Oh, I think this is it. Oh, I can't even...
And Coach Jamal in chat talks about the platinum he hated getting was Heavy Rain.
Oh, yeah,
my least favorite full 1000G was actually my second rarest achievement, which is the NBA Live 15 full 1000G.
Just grindy.
100%. To this day, I've uninstalled that game. I don't have it anymore. It's not anywhere on my Xbox. I still get messages about once or twice a week from people asking me to help them with those challenges.
Oh man.
On NBA Live 15, it's like, sorry, dude, I don't have it installed.
The pinball table I was thinking of is Red and Ted's Road Show from 1994.
I just noticed I do have a platinum achievement in my best achievements. Well, first of all, Afro Samurai is in one of my rarest achievements, which is kind of cool.
Oh, huh.
It's complete the game on both difficulties, which is ridiculously hard on the hard ones.
Yeah.
But I have Platinum Champion, which is to get every single Platinum medal in Project Gotham Racing 3.
Oh, wow.
Way back then, I was still an achievement hunter, folks.
That's intense. Alright. I think I'm ready to get started. Oh, hold on. Got one more question here and two more questions in chat. Let's get those in here in show notes. Get those cleaned up. And then we'll get started here. We'll leave Louise to her nap.
I wanted to get her to do the trill before you delete her from the stream.
I'll let you know before I do. Okay. Trill away, sir.
No. Sherlock came in and bugged her, so she's absolutely fine now. Hey. Hey.
Poke, 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 poke.
Say hello.
No, I'm good.
Good girl.
Alright, everyone say bye, Louise.
Bye-bye.
Alright, let's get rid of pre-show here, too. Click, click. Alright, you ready?
Yes-ish.
I love the confidence.
The breath was just like, wait. No, I'm ready.
Okay. Let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello there.
We recorded yesterday the recap episode for our latest episode of Game Club. That was for the Swapper. It'll be out about the same time that this is, so go ahead and check your feed. The randomly selected game at the end of last month's episode was Shovel Knight.
Yep.
So we're going to go play Shovel Knight. I know Shovel Knight Treasure Trove is out now, which has the first 2 pieces of DLC. Basically, how I talked about it on the show is the required reading is just the core Shovel Knight. If you want to, do some extra credit and play the 2 DLC parts, that's fine too. But the main focus of the episode is going to be just the vanilla core Shovel Knight. So go play Shovel Knight. It's really good.
I look forward to playing it for the
yeah,
first
neither
time.
Moon or Musum have played it, so I'm very excited. Oh yeah, and if you're a patron, coming up this,
I was about to remind you about this.
Coming up this Friday is episode 2 of TVGP's Old Dog New Flicks. I won't spoil what episode is coming up, but it's a favorite of mine, and it's 100% a cult classic. So patreon.com/E1M1. The episode turned out really, really well for a really great movie. So
Yep.
You'll get access to episode 1 and you'll get access to episode 2 when it publishes on Friday. So go be a patron at the $5 level. It's well worth it. Episode turned out great. I
was really pleased with how this one turned out.
Yeah.
It helps when we're doing a movie that one of us have seen.
Yes. All right, and I think that's it. So let's get into what you've been playing, Moonpeer.
Well, we like you just mentioned. I played so much the Swapper this week. Like I started this week hardcore Swappering. So yeah, go listen / watch the recap episode for that. Thoughts were had. I think that's probably the most mixed we've ever really been on a game. Like not strong feelings, but we all seem to take something different away from it.
Yeah, and we all had different positives and negatives too, which I don't think we often get.
Yep. Other than that, I played not a whole bunch, but a fair bit of Far Cry 5. And this feels like Pimp Your Ride, except it's Pimp Your Far Cry, where it's like, yo dog, I heard you like Far Cry 4, so I put some Far Cry 3 in your Far Cry 4 to make Far Cry 5. Like, it's a Far Cry game.
Right.
And I think I said it last week. Right now, it's a bunch of checkboxes for me, which is here's a mark on the radar. Or on the map. I'm just gonna go do it, which is very much how I'm approaching Far Cry 5. Because at this point, I've been kidnapped twice in the second area, So I've wiped out the first area. Well, I've wiped out the leader of the first area. I've been kidnapped twice by the second area, and the second area is a whole lot less impressive than the first one so far.
Oh, bummer.
So I'm hoping that the drug-infused third area will help bring the game back around again, but as of right now, it's just a case of it's more Far Cry. Like we'll see if the entire area, basically where you're stoned out your gourd, is gonna make up for it or not. But we'll see.
It's sort of a bummer because I get that impression from a lot of people that it's more Far Cry, which on the surface isn't bad, but it's sort of disappointing in two ways. One, we've had Assassin's Creed Origins, which sort of broke the mold for the Assassin's Creed series.
Yep.
And two, that sort of feels like what Ubisoft used to do, and I felt like they, after launching like two Assassin's Creed games in 2 years, and The Crew, and Far Cry 4, and Primal, like, they had 5 games in 2 years that were all, let's say, exactly the same.
Yeah, let's say very Ubisoft games.
Yeah, it felt very much like they sort of took the criticism on the chin at that point from everybody and said, okay, well, we're going to shake up the formula. And then they put out Far Cry 5, and it's just more Far Cry with no experience points in it. Yep. It's like, well, that's not what I'm really looking for.
Yeah, and it's one of those things as well where, I mean, it's like you said, Origins came along and it was like, here's the other Assassin's Creed formula, and we're going to smash the mold. Yep. We're going to include the bits that you like, and we're going to redo a whole bunch of the extraneous stuff around the edges. Yeah, you're going to have your dots and you're going to have your stuff, but it's all going to have kind of a purpose.
And there's going to be like 75% less of them.
My big curiosity is, I think, is this a case of they had both in development at the same time, and they were hearing the feedback about Far Cry Primal specifically, being like, it's more of the same, who cares, and hearing the same feedback about Assassin's Creed, and they might have taken the approach of, one of these has to change and we'll see which one does better. Like, so let's maybe keep Far Cry as the same kind of game, and Assassin's Creed will revamp the whole thing, and let's see what people say. And as it turns out, they revamped Assassin's Creed and kept Far Cry the same, and people are saying, yo, the new AC is incredible, yo, the old Far Cry is still not great.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's your type of game, great, and it is my type of game, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying playing it, but this is very much a Destiny thing, where it's, I don't care about the extraneous stuff around the edges, I don't care about the story anymore, I don't care about the characters, I don't care about that, I'm literally playing it because it's a really, really solid gameplay loop. Like,
it's just fun to play.
It's fun to play. It's nothing else about it is really grabbing me so far. The intro did what every Far Cry game does and gives you an incredible intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's right now, for me, it's the mechanic loop of, I'm going to go to this place and I'm going to murder everybody with my sniper rifle and bow, and then I'm going to get a little check mark, which I'm enjoying. Like I said, it's if you like your Far Cry games, that's exactly what this is. So if you know what you're in for, go for it. If you're looking for some revolution the way Origins was, this definitely ain't it.
Yeah.
And alternate history-wise, I'm kind of curious what would have happened if they would have said, let's make AC Origins the same and let's redo Far Cry in a different way and see what gets done. So I'm hoping maybe Far Cry 6, they can drop the whole thing and do the ground-up restructuring and see what comes out of that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where they're going to go story-wise with 6, because 5's story has not been super well received in general. You know, the common criticism seems to be that it just sort of doesn't have any teeth to it. So I'm curious if they're going to go back to the older formula in 6 and just say, like, all right, nothing local, sort of a made-up area and kind of a made-up villain, and stick to what we're good at.
Well, they definitely weren't helped with the whole release trailer for that game. Like the first time, the one more thing at the Ubisoft press conference showing that game, and then after showing that game, the world turned on its head, and then all of a sudden, it's a case of what are you going to say in this game? Look at the way the climate is these days. You know, are you gonna talk about this in the story of a game? And they very quickly backed off from that. And like, no, this isn't a statement. This is just a piece of art. This is, So, they probably got the really short end of the world is changing stick in that front. I mean, it would have been just like The Division. Like, what would have happened if the dollar bill virus suddenly happened while they're in the middle of development?
Like, oh no.
It's unfortunate timing for them, but even so, without that whole thing, they still could have made statements. They still could have said something. They chose not to. That's fine. If they don't want to anger, I'm assuming a large portion of the market at least.
Yeah.
They're not going to make a statement. Nobody in a AAA development space is ever making statements because that's how you get people to not buy your game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Is you need to have those sellers. But yes, Far Cry 5 still fun, mechanically speaking. Dead by Daylight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Dead by Daylight is really dumb fun. Like really, really fun.
That's pretty perfect.
I cannot believe how much fun I'm having playing this game. It's the best thing about it, to be honest, is the rounds are short. It's not an hour-long investment. It's maybe a 20-minute investment, depending on the skill level of everybody involved. But it works out real nice because you just jump in. If you're playing by yourself, it's actually not too bad because as soon as you escape or die, you can immediately jump back to the lobby system and join another game. You don't have to wait for your game to be over.
Yeah, you don't have to like spectate for another 30 minutes.
Exactly. When I'm playing with my wife, I do spectate because it's handy to be able to see what other randoms we are playing with are doing. Is the random we are playing with doing their job on generators? Let's find out. Cheat. For the record, we can't see what the killer does, so it's not 100% cheating. It's just like being in a party chat with people.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. Probably the most fun I have in this game, I'm not going to lie, is playing it with a bunch of wusses.
Okay. Chickens like me.
Yes, this would be the perfect game for you to play because two of our friends get spooked real easily. So it just becomes a case of, okay, we're working on the generator. We're all in party chat, working on the generator, and there's like, oh my god! And then they run away.
You just woke up Louise.
I'm sorry.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, do you really like? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. So yeah, it becomes screams and like the gibberish that people say when they're scared,
and then quiet whimpering after that. Like, oh, he's around. Oh.
And it's the great thing of the tension building with the heartbeat as well, being the killer's terror radius.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I hear a heartbeat. Oh no, it's getting bigger. Okay, it's going away. Oh no! Which I did talk to some people, and let's say there was some criticism leveled in my direction for not knowing the difference between Michael Myers and Leatherface, which,
hey man,
they're all supervillains of the horror universe.
You started a podcast to talk about the movies you've missed. Like, you are not the horror movie like Chuck over at No Cores and Bamfcast. That's the dude you talk to when you need to know stuff about horror movies.
Yes,
not either one of us.
Series every single year that he does for that kind of reason. You know, I don't know anything. I know I get Halloween and Friday the 13th confused. So yeah, I ain't looking to be perfect on them.
Yeah.
But no, Dead by Daylight, it's so much fun, and I know T-Bone's got it now. T-Bone Rocks from the community, he's got it. My wife has it. We've got enough people to get a full lobby going, with including one of us being the killer.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that kind of moment. I think it might end up being the same rules of if my wife and I are playing together, one of us cannot be the killer because we can see the other person's screen. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying either of us would do it, but it's better to take it out of the equation beforehand rather than have beef later down the line.
Right.
And we are banned from playing competitively against each other for reasons.
That's fair.
Yes. We don't talk about them.
My wife and I don't play competitively either. We'd rather do co-op.
I think, to be honest, I would love to play competitively against Jess. I would love to, but
it's not worth it, man.
It's not. For neither of us, it is worth it.
Yeah.
So we choose to not do competitive gaming, and then usually when it's suggested, we play one round. It's like, there's a reason we don't do this.
Yeah.
So we stop.
That's fair.
But yeah, Dead by Daylight, really, really fun. I'm quite enjoying that. And the last game I played this week, because today's been a very busy week. That tells you the kind of week I've had. The last game I played this week was Monster Hunter World. They finished their spring event. So the giant pig made of flowers is officially gone.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shame. And my normal pig is dressed like a pig again. Oh wait, no, my pig is dressed like a ranger guy instead of being dressed like a bumblebee, which is a bit sucky. But they do have a new event, which is a raid event.
I've seen some stuff about a shiny, exquisite monster with an like all Monster Hunter monsters, a nearly unpronounceable name.
Yes, because that's what Monster Hunter monsters do.
Yeah.
Specifically in this case, it's an Elder Dragon again, so it means it's one of the high end. Your minimum hunter rank is 16, which means you have to have hit credits on the game.
Okay.
Fun fact, I hit credits on Monster Hunter this week.
Hey, congrats.
Yay! Thank you, T-Bomb. Thank you, Rob. That game is really okay, ignoring the special event for a second, like, I really do enjoy that game. And the final monster is gorgeous. Like, he just looks incredible. He has, like, a transparent chest where you can see through his chest and see, like, his core, and he looks incredible. So he's well worth getting up to that point just to actually see that monster. But as soon as you hit, it's the level cap break thing of as soon as you beat him. If you beat him straight away, your hunter rank is 16, and then you can level up beyond that.
Okay.
It ran into the same thing with everybody who then beat him. It was like, your hunter rank is 16. Now it's blank. So I went from 16 to 25.
Oh, wow.
Because I've played a little bit too much Monster Hunter without actually making progression.
Right.
So I'm now bumped up to the 25 ranks. Apparently the highest anybody I know have seen so far is hunter rank 200.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know how you increase that number so far. Like, I don't know if it's just the more rewards, the more mats, the higher tier stuff you're wearing. I don't know.
It's like seeing someone in Diablo 3 where it's like, oh, this person's streaming Diablo 3. Their Paragon rank 1,435. It's like, what? What?
How? Yeah,
I'm 70.
Like, I've played so much Diablo 3 and I think I'm like 90 something. Like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous. Hollow, chime in. Tell me what your Paragon rank is, please, because you played too much of that game.
Yeah. Mine is in the like 400s right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I beat the last boss. I got the credit sequence, and then I joined in for this limited time event, which is really cool. Like, okay, so at the start, when the game first came out, there was this gathering hub, which is when you match made into a lobby system with a bunch of other people. If you went to the gathering hub, that was the only way you could see each other, like, before going out on a mission. Okay. So it's essentially like you're in the town, but when you go to the gathering hub, that's the lobby system. Like, that's where everyone spawns into the same lobby. And the way this new mission works is anybody who's in the lobby with you can go and do this mission, and it's the research process, basically, of you go, you see the monster, and then you do a bunch of investigations to increase your level of knowledge about this monster. Okay. But the difference is, instead of being one person getting research for their personal monster book, It's 16 people, I believe. So 4 groups of 4 can all go in from the same lobby, do the mission,
Wow.
and then their research is pooled into one knowledge base. And the more research you do as a group, the higher the reward tier for beating the monster.
Oh, cool.
So as you're attacking the monster, it will flee eventually. It'll just keep fleeing.
Mm.
And from what I understand, you can break its horn, and then that takes it to the point where you can actually finally kill it. But the more people you have in this lobby doing the same mission allows that reward tier to go higher and higher and higher and higher.
Wow.
So you can end up getting some really sweet drops from it. It's just about going in and attacking this monster who might be like, I love the weird white lightning unicorn thing they have going on.
Yeah.
I think that's the Kirin. Like, that looks incredible. I mentioned it, I think, on the show, how incredible the Kirin looks. This new dragon, I don't know its name, is incredible because it's a golden dragon. So it has golden plates all down its back. And if you attack it enough, it turns the gold molten. So then it becomes this molten gold red lava back that you have to take chunks out of. And then every time it drops stuff, you're just sitting there picking up all like little nuggets of gold and doing research into it, and at the same time fighting specific cat bug people who are all outfitted in gold because they're basically running beside it, claiming all of the gold poop for themselves. Jeez. And then making costumes. So it's really interesting. Hopefully this week I'm gonna sit down, put some true time into it, and actually get a bunch of drops from it and a bunch of XP and see what the new armor is, because I'd love to have a super dope / really ridiculous golden armor set.
You know what I have to give them so much credit for is, like, they could have put out a piece of DLC that's like, look, it's a dragon and now it's blue. Ooh, it's a cold dragon. But instead they put out like a molten golden unicorn. It's like you put out something much different and much cooler, and they didn't really have to, but
yeah,
I feel like that's part of the attraction of Monster Hunter is when you get a new monster through an event or a DLC or something, it's gonna be something cool. Like, it's gonna be an event instead of just, oh my god, the dragon is green now and it spits poison a little bit. Oh no, go hunters.
Well, it's like my favorite thing in that game is the scale, because at the start of the game you've got the weird giant lava dragon thing who is ridiculously huge. Like, you have to climb it like a mountain in order to defeat it, and that is really cool, but that's not a true Monster Hunter like combat scenario, because you're doing specific things, like you're at like a siege gate and you're attacking it using siege weapons to take it down. That's cool, but it's not the Monster Hunter I signed up for. I signed up for giant dragons and tiny little dudes trying to basically poke toothpicks into its legs, and
with huge hammers.
Yes, and weird bagpipe hammers as well.
Yeah.
Well, I signed up for that, and then you get to the last boss before the credit sequence, and the scale just gets doubled. Like, you're used to seeing things that like look like dragon sized compared to you, and then on that last thing, he is probably 2, maybe 3 times as big as the biggest dragon you've seen.
Wow.
So the scale just gets a little bit ridiculous, and I'm going to give credit to Rob here for being cool as a cucumber and just ridiculously calm under pressure / has beaten this monster so much. The last dragon thing does this charge attack where it kind of stouts itself down a little bit and then charges forward. I'm standing in front of the thing attacking its legs. Rob's standing like underneath the thing attacking its belly. And then as soon as it makes the noise that it's about to drop down and then charge forwards, I'm looking at Rob and I just see Rob go whoop as he crouches. I'm like, what? And then I get pummeled, rolling off to the side as this thing's trampling all over me, and Rob just stands up and is like, yeah, what of it? Like, those are the type of moments that make kind of Monster Hunter so incredible. It's like, yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. He's beat the monster before. I didn't. I got rolled halfway across the map, and he just stood up and was like, yeah, I'm fine.
That's awesome.
Like, it was kind of this... I literally, in the middle of like healing myself, was like, did you seriously just crouch to avoid that attack? And I got smashed across the map, and he's like, yeah, that's exactly what happens. Like,
yeah, a little bit.
Great. thanks for the heads up there.
Yeah.
But Monster Hunter is very much a learn by doing kind of game where it's jump in, fight the same monster 10, 15 times. And I will admit, it's a grind. The game is 100% a grind.
Yeah.
It's my kind of grind. It's the fun grind to me. Like, I've seen a fair few people who put thousands of hours into Destiny being like, oh, Monster Hunter's so grindy. How much Destiny did you play again? And why?
Yeah, I loved the first Destiny. I put, 1,600 hours on one character. Yeah, Destiny is a loot grind game. Just the same as Diablo is and the same that Monster Hunter is. They're in the same family tree.
It's about finding the grind that suits you.
Right. TM.
Which Monster Hunter is 100% up my alley because it's kind of also skill based at the same time. You can't really glitch your way around the system at all. But yeah, Monster Hunter still fun. Go play it. It's fantastic. We did talk about how much you would love this game and how much you totally could not play this game right now.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had the time to do it because it's 100% a game I'd love.
Yeah,
and I think because of that, it's like, someone with a gambling problem can't go to Vegas.
Yes.
I know I would have a problem with Monster Hunter World now that they've smoothed a lot of the edges.
Yep.
I can't do it. I know.
Yeah,
myself.
I kind of wish you could. I tell you what,
me too.
When the little one's a little older, jump on their Xbox and we'll play the game with you.
Yeah, exactly. She can help out.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, that's all I've been playing this week. So, Boston, tell me all about your games. One in which I'm particularly excited to see.
That'll be the last one.
Yes,
I want to start off with Kid Tripp. Tripp. This was it's a Switch game. The key was provided by the developer Four Horses via Indie Gamer Chick on Twitter, which is not an account I had seen before, but she works with a bunch of publishers to give out keys to people that want to play cool games. So Kid Tripp looked cool, and I decided to get a key for it. This game is really interesting because it looks like a Master System game. It has like that zoomed in perspective. It's pixel art. The characters are very large. And like I wrote on Twitter, it's an auto runner, which I know to a lot of people is like a 4-letter word where it's like, oh, auto runner, here we go. Is it a mobile game? Like,
yeah.
But part of what I like about this game being an auto runner is it removes the jankiest part of the Switch, which is the D-pad.
I was just going to say, is it the D-pad by any chance?
Yeah, so like with an auto runner, you don't have to worry about you having to control your character like that. All you have to worry about is each level is fairly short, which is great because very quickly you need to have almost pixel perfect accuracy going through these levels. The only two buttons you really use, you can hold the back button to slow down a little bit. So far I haven't needed to do that. The A button jumps and the B button throws rocks, which will take out enemy projectiles or enemies.
That's kind of cool.
But you also want to jump on enemies to sort of propel yourself upwards to... So part of what I like about it is the levels are short, but it feels so rewarding when you try like 10 times. I'm not very good at the game. You try like 10 times to get through level, and you finally get it down where you're like, all right, I need to jump off this guy and, shoot a rock over here, and that'll take out that guy, and bounce, bounce, jump, jump. Like, it feels so good when you get it down, and then you get to the next level, and you're like, all right, well, this is another interesting level of fresh hell for me to beat, and then 10 minutes later, you beat that one, and it
sounds like me playing Ollie Ollie.
Yeah, it's a lot like Ollie Ollie. It's a lot of that, like, little bit of frustration throughout, like, pain points in the level until you beat it, and you're like, oh, I'm the best. I need to start a new level. I'm the worst. And I never really clicked with Ollie Ollie, and I really clicked with Kid Tripp. I think because the levels Ollie, I always got frustrated because I felt like I was supposed to do tricks instead of like just make it through the level. Like there was always this other layer of, well, you want a better score and you want to do all these tricks. I was like, yeah, but I'm just trying to make it, man.
Yeah.
And Kid Tripp is all just about making it. So I like it. I think it's pretty cheap on eShop. Of course, since I got a code for it, I can't see the price on the eShop, which drives me crazy. But it's really fun. I spent a couple hours in it, and I got I think to the end of World 2, which if anyone has played it will tell you how terrible I am at it. But so far, 2 thumbs up. I really enjoy some of these games on Switch where they're little games that I can just play, you know, with while I'm up here. You know, a podcast is compressing. I can just sit here and play something.
Yeah.
If you follow me on Twitter, I purchased this. Let's talk about programming a little bit. I promise it's game related. I bought this thing called Pico 8, and I sort of didn't realize entirely what it was based on the name. They call it a fantasy console.
Okay.
So it's inside of you fire up Pico 8 and it fires up a virtual machine on your computer, and included in it is everything you need to make games on Pico 8. So when you get to the main menu, you just hit escape and your code editor is right there. And you can write all your code inside of the thing that runs your code.
Okay. So it's essentially a dev kit for itself.
Yeah, but what's also really cool is it also includes an area to make sprites, area to make backgrounds, sound effects, and it has music. You can put music in there, and it has like a full 4-track sequencer for music. And then what's cool is once you're done editing all that, you hit escape, go back to the command prompt, type run, and your game runs. And if that doesn't work, hit escape again, you go back to your code. So it's really great to have it all in that one thing. And not only that, but cartridges for the Pico 8, when you export them, are saved as PNG files, images.
Interesting.
That include everything in that PNG. So, like, all you need to do to load a Pico 8 cartridge into Pico 8 is run that image.
Import the image. Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, you can also export it as HTML. So if you just want to upload it to your own website or upload it to something that runs that thing, it's really cool. I've gone through a couple of tutorials. I have it on my GitHub. I'm Janston on GitHub. If you want the code for, I made a spaceship game where you're just basically play like Junior Arkanoid. It's been kind of fun to context switch between some of the other stuff I'm doing and coding these dumb little games. And
enterprise versus fun.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I thought was really neat is if anyone has Pico 8 and they want to run my code, all the code that I have up on GitHub, like your code snippet for your game, at the bottom of it includes a whole bunch of gibberish that is your sprites, your sound effects, and your music.
Oh, cool.
So if you take that code base, you paste it in a Pico 8, and you hit run, you get exactly the thing that I'm running. So it's all really cool.
Yeah, that sounds it.
And it's 16 colors, and it's 128 pixels by 128. That's your maximum. So it's really nice to make... I have no experience in game dev, but I do have a programming background, so it's nice to have those limitations where you can't, like, I'm going to make Chrono Trigger 2! You know, it's like...
Yeah, you don't run into the mistake that the System Shock 2 guys ran into.
Yeah, exactly, where it's like, I could make anything! I can make platformers and shooting games and, you know, small things that involve just enough code to kind of make me happy.
Yeah.
So Pico 8 is cool. And I don't know how much I'm gonna make with it, but it feels like something where it's like, I wonder if I could make a platformer and sort of sit down over a couple days and just make a dumb platformer.
Yeah.
So I did play more Marvel Strike Force. I think I talked about this last week. It's the Marvel turn-based RPG.
Yes.
They put out a big patch this week.
Was it a bad patch?
Well, half of it is really good. Like, Thanos is now in the game and recruitable.
Hold on, wait. Infinity War's coming out and Thanos is now in the game?
I know, crazy.
I'm sorry, who's the new character in Marvel Puzzle Quest again?
Yeah. Bearded Cap, the cool one.
Exactly.
But he's locked behind raids, and Jive495 in the community created an alliance in the game for us, and we just don't have enough people to really do the raids yet.
Yeah.
Which isn't surprising because the game came out, I think, 3 weeks ago. So
I was going to say that if a game's like that new and it's putting raids in, that kind of slaps to me of, please give us real money, please get stronger.
No, it actually doesn't really feel like that. I feel like, now that I've been playing this for 2 weeks, it really doesn't feel like that, because it feels very much like you can't get to the raids until your account level is 25, which is quite a while. They do a really great job of saying, alright, you've hit level 8, now you can do some of the quasi-PvP stuff. You hit level 10, you can start doing challenges every day. You know, like, they start doling that stuff out like Star Wars Galaxy Heroes did really well, where it's like, alright, you gained another level, here's something cool now. So it's not just, you know, welcome to the game, here's 400 things to do.
Yep.
The bad part of the patch is they made the campaign harder.
Okay.
And when I say harder, they doubled the health of every enemy.
Was it too easy before?
Yeah, but now it's
was it that
way
easy?
too hard. Like, and I get where they're coming from, because it felt like I started the game and I was just breezing through this thing with no real problem, and I didn't really need to level up my heroes that much, because I was sort of just, here's another chapter down, alright, bang, 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 you know, we're going through it.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting things they do is, at the start you have 2 campaigns, a heroes campaign and a villains campaign. You can only use heroes and heroes, villains and the villains. So
Galaxy of Heroes had the same thing. Light side,
yeah,
dark side.
yeah, that's right. So it's smart, because they're pushing you to upgrade sort of all of your heroes' baseline at the same time.
Yeah.
Who was Galaxy Heroes made by?
Honestly, I have no idea. I would check, but I don't have a phone that works with that game anymore.
Galaxy of Heroes.
Correction, I don't have a phone that works with my account for that game anymore. Thank you, EA.
I'm curious to... Developers was Capital Games. Okay. There's so many similarities between these two. This was made by Foxnet Games. Fox Next Games. There we go.
Is this former Kojima Studios people?
No, that'd be great. That's Fox Die Games.
Okay.
I think they swung a little bit too far on the other side, because I've gotten far enough in the Heroes and the Villains campaign to unlock the next set of campaigns with the Nexus, and I can't make it any progress in that at all.
Yeah.
So I know I sort of need to go back and farm some gear when I play, you know, a little bit every day. But that's been a little bit demoralizing, especially for a game that just came out. It's sort of like, oh man, you guys were doing really great. You were doing too well though, so like I gotta smack you down a couple pegs.
Yeah, we're gonna rein you back in before we let you actually just destroy everything.
Yeah, which is fair, but it's a little bit frustrating. All right, 2 more games. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Last week I said I was at the end. I had literally 15 minutes left to go. so I finished that. I was really, really, really happy with the ending. I feel like, obviously no spoilers, I feel like they did such a great job with the story the entire time that it would have been so easy for them to just trip and fall on their face with the story at the very ending.
Yeah.
They wrapped up Aloy's story really nicely and really in a very touching way. And then they wrapped up some of the stuff with the bad guy that could very easily lead into Horizon Zero Dawn 2, which I would very much like to see. And I was thinking, I had finished it, and I was like, man, are they working on a sequel yet? And I didn't realize it came out like this time last year, so...
Yep.
Hopefully. Hopefully I have a 4K TV by that point. So I hopped right into Frozen Wilds, the DLC.
The DLC, yeah. I saw I think it was you, like, literally on the title screen for that, where I'm assuming it pops up with Frozen Wilds as the area. I saw the screenshot you posted of that.
Where she's, like, in a cave and has the logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked this DLC a lot. One of the first things you do in the game is you go and you, or in the DLC, you go, it shows you where the Tall Neck is, the, you know, Assassin's Creed Tower.
Sorry, I just love that name. Yeah. The Tall Neck.
The Tall Neck. And what's great is it's tall and has a really long neck. It's like, okay, well, yeah, sure. It shows you where it is, and unlike all of the ones in the main game, the whole MO of the DLC is sort of like, we're going to change everything you did a lot of in the main game.
Yeah.
In sort of a positive way. So when you get there, instead of it walking circles around the map and you just have to find the right point to hop up onto it, it's actually dead, and you have to rebuild and reactivate it, and then go find the spot to hop onto it, and then override it to get the map.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like a little tweak where it's like, all right, you sort of made a puzzle out of this thing I did 7 times in the base game, so it's kind of fun that's a little different. You get all new weapons. I won't talk about the non-bow weapons because they're a little bit inside baseball, but all the new bows you get throughout the DLC all have this new feature where the longer you pull back on the string, the more damage it's going to do.
Okay.
Which is pretty great because it rewards you for slowing down and taking your time with your shots instead of just like rapid fire or like shotgunning.
Does it cap the damage at any particular point? Like,
it does, yeah. Like the reticle is much larger and it gets smaller and smaller. And once it gets to the center of the screen, there are like 4 little pokies that come out of the end of it, and at that point you know, okay, my damage is at a max now.
At the maximum, yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I have a lot of notes here. One of the biggest problems I had with Horizon Zero Dawn is, and I hope they fix this in a sequel, I really want the day-night switching stuff from both Witcher 3 and Assassin's Creed Origins. Because there are some times that I go into a cave and it's impossible to see, or I'm like looking for something in an environment and it's midnight, and that...
Oh, so what you're talking about, like the meditative ability that you get. Where
it's like,
I
want this to be daytime. Like, this game looks really great, and I can't see anything right now. Can I just rest for 12 hours and have it be noon? That would be really great. So, one of the great things about the first game is they did the Assassin's Creed thing, where you go into a secret area and you see a really cool, overpowered piece of armor, and she says, "Oh, I need a whole bunch of stuff to get in there. I bet that armor's really good." Wink.
Oh, it's the Fallout 4 thing of, oh look, it's a freezy gun. It's a master lockpick. I wonder what.
If only I could get in there. So, I feel like if you're playing Frozen Wilds, I feel like if you're playing Horizon Dawn, there's a 99% chance you got that armor, because it makes you invulnerable. And
okay,
it gives you like an overshield basically, and then whenever that is expired and it takes a lot of damage, then you start taking damage to your health. So it doesn't make things trivial, but it makes a lot of stuff way easier.
Yeah.
What I like is, if you had it going to the DLC, it'd just be a cakewalk. We're like, hey, look at all these enemies. Pew, 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 pew. You know, everything's dead, yeah. they have these override towers in certain areas that disable that shield on that armor until you take them out.
Oh, okay, so it's like a white noise generator specifically designed for your shield.
Yeah, and it's really smart because it's like, well, otherwise I'd be like Billy the Kid, just like running through nonstop and just not stopping and shooting stuff like I'm in a like in a Matrix movie. But all of that stuff is really great. That was probably the first half of the DLC. The second half of the DLC has some problems. So there's a point in the middle where, minor spoilers, Aloy goes up to the Frozen North. And you need to get to an area because you found out that there's what they're calling a daemon, which is really great because that's what Linux processes are called, and it's spelled the same.
Daemon?
Yeah. Daemon.
Yeah.
And what's great is, like, they have all these terms for stuff that they've seen on, like, some old technology, and they just use it without knowing what it really means.
Yeah.
Halfway through, you eventually sort of throw up your hands and say, like, screw it, look, I really have to get to that place. Apparently, the only way you can lift the restriction on going to that place is if you're the chieftain. So I'm going to challenge the chieftain, and I'm going to become chieftain. Which is fine. But then you have to go challenge him, and it flips the game on its head, where the majority of that game is very slow, sort of stealthy, you want to take your time. This is, of course, a race where you're killing stuff in between points of the race, where it's like, go down there, kill 5 of these things, come back here, release this thing, go on to the next thing. It's totally the opposite from everything else that Horizon did really well. I don't think
it takes the choice of play style away from you. It makes you play it in a specific way.
And I don't think it's inherently bad. I don't think that sequence, I don't think the DLC is bad. It's just the opposite of what I liked in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, you have to fight. They have a bunch of new enemies in the DLC, which is really nice. One of them is basically a grizzly bear. And it is ridiculously, insanely difficult the first time you run into one. And it's like a big, major boss battle. At the end of this challenge, you have to fight 3 of them at the same time. And that's where I had to shift the difficulty down from normal to story, which is basically like you're kind of one-shotting everything.
It's the baby mode.
Yeah. Which I really like developers calling it story instead of like very easy or like don't hurt me, daddy.
Yeah, it takes the negative connotations away from it.
Yeah, which is... I was really enjoying it up until that point, and there were a couple instances where I tried to put it back on a normal, but for some reason, I felt like I wasn't doing any damage to all of these new enemies, which was really frustrating because the base game was challenging on normal, but never felt like I was just like shooting BBs at like a brick wall. Like I felt completely ineffective. And once I moved it down to the lowest difficulty, I had a lot of fun. I finished the DLC. The story was really great. It takes place before you go do the final battle. And it tied into the main story really nicely without sort of doing anything dumb.
Yeah.
And I think I knocked it out in about less than 10 hours, which is pretty alright.
I'm assuming that's the game as a whole, including DLC, not just the DLC.
No, just the DLC was less than 10 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, the game itself was like 20, 25, I think it was.
That's not too bad.
It's a pretty meaty thing. So, and that was 10 hours getting 100%. So like collecting all the collectibles, doing all the challenges, all that stuff.
That's definitely not too bad.
No, yeah. I only had 2 trophies left to get all the trophies in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh no.
So I figured, why the hell not? Why not play New Game Plus on Ultra Hard? swinging completely opposite from story difficulty to the highest ultra hard.
Yep. And out of curiosity, is that okay? The 2 trophies you had left was one beat it on ultra hard, and the other one beat New Game Plus.
No, it was beat New Game Plus and then beat New Game Plus on ultra hard.
Okay.
Which was sort of surprising, but I sort of understand why they did that. There are some crazy people that start the game on ultra hard, which the game would literally be impossible. It's so tuned to you playing it on New Game Plus, having saved your loadout from your regular game and carrying that over. Because, for example, enemies don't have health bars anymore. Their AI is better. Multiple enemies attack you at once now, so it's not just like one at a time, we're going to take our turns. Everything in the game, vendors have way less stuff, so you have to forage stuff out in the wilds. Everything costs 5 times more money.
Oh.
So, like, I didn't buy anything on my playthrough because it was impossible. But I sort of had fun doing essentially a speed run, because the game drops you after the tutorial, so it's basically once Aloy is all grown up, and you kind of hit the ground running, very literally, because if the game doesn't tell you kill everything in this room to continue, you're running past it. Like, you're probably going to use the rope caster to tie really nasty stuff down, and you're just going to get the hell out of there.
This makes me think of not any of the recent ones, but the old Treyarch Call of Duty games on the hardest difficulty.
Yes.
Where it's literally, these people will keep spawning, just run.
Yeah.
Just literally run as much cover as you can get from here to there. When you die, they'll stop respawning. And
the great part about Horizon Zero Dawn is, if you want, you could probably do this super stealthy and, you know, do your whistle and bring enemies over to you and override them and sort of override a bunch of people, or take the overridden machines and have them fight the other enemies. But instead, I just hot-footed it with the invulnerable armor, and that was, one, fun because it was incredibly different from the rest of the game, and 2, incredibly difficult because they do so much more damage. Oh my god. I think I beat it in under 8 hours, doing basically a speedrun mode, and that was no side quests, no errands, no nothing, just the 23 missions they give you sort of back to back, and that was really friggin' hard.
Yep.
I have to give them credit for putting something like ultra hard in there, because it really didn't mess around. Like, you need to know. Someone likened it to Monster Hunter, actually. Like, you need to know that they don't have health bars. You need to know their call-outs for when they're going to do attacks. You need to know...
tells for when they're going to...
Yeah, all their tells for when they're getting really damaged. You need to know your loadout and how you specifically play, because every shot matters and every shot counts. And whenever bosses call in... additional enemies, you need to take them down first, like, without any question. And I died a lot, and it was never unfair. It was just sort of like, okay, I got greedy, I did something stupid, I should have been safer, let me try that again. Okay, I took the boss down this time.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun, and I'm now 100% done with Horizon Zero Dawn. And we did, there was that on Twitter, there was the Game Something 4, where
Game
basically,
Struck 4.
Yeah, where you post 4 games that have been impactful to you over the, you know, however long you've been playing games. And for me, one of mine was Horizon Zero Dawn, because I feel like there wasn't really anything wrong with that game. Like,
BAFTA nominated?
Yeah, BAFTA nominated. Like, it's just, the writing was incredible. It's a beautiful game. Talking about the next game, I will be returning to Horizon Zero Dawn whenever I get a 4K TV, at least to explore and take some more photos in photo mode and be like, ooh, oh, HDR, oh, 4K, ooh.
When you become one of us, one of the snobs.
Someday. But Horizon Zero Dawn is one of those very few games that other than the difficulty spike in the DLC, I don't really have a problem with it. Like, to me, there's really nothing wrong with it.
Well, that's good to hear, because that is on the, like, well, at this point it's like 7 or 8 games that I need a PlayStation 4 for.
To me, this is one of those few games that I would say to everybody that if you own a PS4, you need to play it. Like, it's just, I think no matter what type of games you enjoy, I think you'll probably find something to like in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
It's just, from front to back, it's incredible. But unfortunately, overshadowed.
It's not the only game to own a PS4 for.
Oh boy, God of War came out this week. I have not spent any time doing anything else except for Isaac runs and the occasional stuff got too serious in God of War. Let's play Medieval Madness and Pinball Arcade a little bit. I think I got my 4th trophy. I really don't want to spoil anything in this game. One, because I don't know how far I am through the game.
Have you hit the boat?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I know very little about this game. I know the boat is when the game gets real.
Yeah, sort of. The game has a very clear goal in mind, which is get to the top of this mountain. And
is it Olympus?
No, it's Norse mythology this time.
I know. I'm kidding.
Which is really interesting because it seems like it's the same Kratos.
Yep. Apparently it is. I've picked up bits and pieces because, hey, guess what, folks? I do a podcast and I listen to a lot of them too.
Yeah. And everyone's talking about God of War.
So from what I understand is it's the same Kratos, but the reason that the Norse mythology side of it has never come up is because he never cared to know about it. He never needed to know about it, so he didn't take anything in about it. Yeah. And apparently the kid is from the area, so the kid is the one who knows the mythology. Kratos is not. Yeah,
I feel like I don't know anything, but I feel like there's probably a deeper reason for why why he never cared, but it's pretty interesting.
Because he was so angry?
Yeah, I mean, he was very angry. I'm less than 10 hours in, and I feel like I've seen a fraction of the game, mostly because every time I get to a new area, there's always cool little puzzles to see, or you'll talk to somebody and you'll get a mission to, like, so, start at the beginning. I'm sure you have heard this about the game, Moon, and everybody else who's listening to this, but there are no camera cuts in the game.
Nope, it's a one-shot.
Yeah, and it's literally a one-shot from when you hit new game. Like, Kratos is standing there with the axe, his axe that he uses as a weapon in his hands, and you hit start and you start chopping down a tree. And it's really great because I haven't played a God of War game in a really long time. And the beginning is very, very somber, and it's not, hey, let's impale a Hydra on a boat. Like, it's not this.
It's because he literally just killed Zeus.
Yeah, but also, his wife died? Like, the beginning of the game is, I'm gathering wood for the pyre for my wife. And you chop down this tree and it falls down, and it's all very somber until Kratos goes over and just picks this giant tree up under his arm, and it's like as big as he is, and then he just starts wandering back to the boat. It's like, okay. All right, so it's still God of War.
Still Kratos.
Yeah, like it's still Kratos, and he's still like superhumanly strong, even though that he's a sad dad now with this petulant archer child of his. I really like that the game immediately breaks away from the previous God of War games by having this very sad, very down, very quiet intro that's more about, like, what are we going to do now as a family from between two people that don't know and don't like each other. Like, Kratos and Atreus don't like each other because...
Is that the kid?
Yeah, that's the kid, sorry. Because they've never spent any time with each other. You know, Atreus keeps saying that Kratos has always been gone. Every time he comes back, he's kind of a D. He barks some orders at him, and then he leaves.
I wonder why.
Yeah. But then, you know, his wife's last wish is, take my ashes and bring them to the top of this mountain, but you have to do it together. And then your mission starts from there. So far I have run into 2 boss battles that have been God of War scale fights, but thankfully they're not back to back. You know, it's not... So far the game hasn't felt like God of War used to, where it's like, okay, cool, we had this really cool boss battle at the beginning. The next one has to be even better than that. And like,
yeah, it's the up the ante thing.
Yeah, and like for the whole series, it's like, okay, that was cool, but we did something way cooler in God of War 2, so it's got to be better than that. It still feels fantastical, like you're still fighting fantasy monsters, but you're not doing it every minute of every like room of every dungeon. The trade-off on that is the battle system is way slower, which I 100% dig. And every encounter is potentially deadly. Even if you're fighting against 1 or 2 enemies, it's not like regular fodder enemies from previous God of War, where it's like, all right, square, 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 triangle, they're dead. Square, 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 triangle, oh no, they're all dead too. You know, like, it doesn't feel like that. Like, you're parrying, you're dodging out of the way, you're pulling out some combos, you're hitting them with magic, you're using Atreus's bow skills to interrupt their attacks or stun them or, you know, do some damage to enemies from afar. You're doing like Doom-style push R3 and rip enemies apart things, which is really great.
I've heard they can be a little long.
Yeah, I tend not to do them all that much, I think because of the length. I don't feel like they're unnecessarily long. They're not like Doom, where it's just like punch, and now it's just like they're 400 pieces.
Yeah, which... The best part of Doom, by the way, is there is a relic you can get in the game, which it increases the speed, and I'm like 200 to 300%. So it literally just becomes so quick.
Like flick them with a finger, and they just...
Yeah.
You're right where, you know, you get through the intro, and the first time you get to the boat on the lake, the game turns from a linear experience to something... I know people are going to call it open world, and that's the wrong term for this. It's more like an open adventure game, sort of like the second Tomb Raider reboot was, where...
more of a choose-your-own-adventure rather than an open world.
Yeah. To me, open world means, like... You've got the map, and you've got 500 icons, and the world is super huge. And these are all... They're smaller, more curated areas that have maybe, like, 1 dungeon and a bunch of chests to open. Or, like, when you get to that first area, you run into a ghost, and he says, hey, man, can you just help, like, my other ghost friends? And it puts 4 icons on your map. And those are all, go sail over there. talk to this ghost, kill a bunch of people, and then they disappear. Like, they're all smaller dungeons or smaller quests, which I really appreciate, because I'm having a lot of fun going into a new area and seeing all these environmental puzzles where it's like, okay, cool, I have a chest that I need to destroy 3 runes for. They're in this room somewhere. I just need to find them and destroy them.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff feels really worthwhile, and all that stuff feels really fun. My only negative about this game so far is like the smallest, most minor thing is that the boat is really hard to control. But you're in it for like 30 seconds at a time, and then everything else in the game has been polished to such perfection. The voice acting is perfect. Bear McCreary did the soundtrack for this. It's really great, and it's really understated. Most of the game doesn't have a lot of music in it at all, which is really great. I really like the story so far. I really like that it is this more intimate story between Kratos and Atreus, sort of learning how to get along with each other at the very least, if not hopefully become a family.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I was worried about with God of War was it seems like Atreus would be really annoying from a gameplay perspective.
I've heard nothing but good things about the kid.
They do such a great job where, like, if you jump over like a chasm, he jumps over as well. Like, you don't have to turn around and say like, okay, come on over. It's nothing like that. If you jump on a wall and you're going to climb it, he jumps on your back. When you get up to the top, he jumps off your back. Like, he goes with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
He also translates runes and stuff in the world. Kratos can't write in the language that's prevalent in the world. So whenever there's something that needs to be written, Atreus does it. And one thing I really like is Atreus doesn't really know how to hunt or do anything at the beginning of the game. So one of the early things is you teach him how to hunt a deer. And the more he fights as you go through the game, and there's no bar or tutorial or anything like this, but after a couple of story beats, it'll say like, all right, Atreus got stronger and more confident in his hunting skills. Now, when you do a combo towards an enemy, like after your last hit, he runs up and he kicks the enemy over. Or like he'll sweep his bow and he'll trip an enemy that's about to attack you.
That's kind of cool.
You can hit the square button and he'll shoot bow arrows at an enemy. You can stun them. So like you can do some really cool combo stuff with him that just happens, but you never really have to worry about him too much. And he's a benefit, which is really great.
The big thing I've heard is something you might want to look into is the journal you have, the book you have.
Yep.
That Atreyu, or whatever his name is pulling out. Go and read that, because it's all written from his perspective.
Oh, I read every bit of it. And it's so interesting because, like, since it is written from his perspective, it can be funny, it can be really sad. Like, a lot of the bestiary entries in there are written because he's never run into these enemies before. He's not entirely sure who they are or what they do, but he remembers his mom telling him stories about a lot of them. So it'll be like, well, mom called them this, but I guess they're really called this, and and the more you kill them, the more it'll give little tips about...
Yep, the more it fills out the book.
Yeah, like how to kill them more effectively. It does a really great job. The first time you kill a new enemy, there's a little pop-up on the right-hand side that says, new bestiary entry, hold up on the D-pad to learn more. You hold it up for a second until a bar fills, and it just opens that page in the journal. You hit circle, it just brings you right back to the game.
That's cool.
All of that stuff is so streamlined. The map is really great. All the equipping and upgrading armor and weapons is very, very, very clear. I understand and I agree with all of the reviews that this thing has been getting so far. And I think to boil it down is it's a character action game
with a character at last.
Well, it feels like it has taken elements from so many other games, like really great dungeon design that the series has always had, but maybe Zelda has done a little bit better. You know, it has slower, more deliberate battle system. I don't want to call it Dead Souls or Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
I've seen a lot of people making that comparison. I don't really think it's... I don't think it's to that level because there are a lot of attacks you can cancel. It feels a little bit more fluid than Dark Souls does.
It's more deliberate combat rather than punishing.
Yeah. But you very much have to counter and parry and block, and you know, he has a shield in this game for a reason. And I think it's really smart that he doesn't have the chains anymore. The very first shot of him makes reference to them because both of his arms are like bandaged up, and when he reaches down to grab something, one of the bandages comes loose like the chains would, and he like very distinctly wraps them back up and ties them and sort of definitively says like, yo, those aren't coming back. And the axe is a really great weapon because you get to throw it and get to hold out your hand like Thor, and it comes back in your hand, and that never gets old.
Throw her at people's knees is...
Yes. Yeah, you can trip a bunch of enemies. Yeah. I think the thing that makes God of War so great is that every single facet of it has been polished to like a mirror sheen. I haven't run into any bugs, nothing weird, and everything is just... It plays correctly. If I die in a battle, it's because I did something dumb, or I wasn't looking in the on-screen, you know, indications, or I got ganged up by a bunch of enemies when I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, and I got punished, and that's on me. And you know, it's even little stuff like everything you can climb onto has this little rune on it that is basically saying, "Yo, you can climb on this thing." There's no, you know, mistaking it, there's no, you know, jumping up to a cliff and being like, wait, where can I grab onto this thing? None of that. It's all like perfectly executed throughout the entire thing, and I just want to keep playing more of it forever.
That's literally all I've heard people say is, let's talk about God of War. Can we stop now so I can go play more God of War? Yeah,
and I think the game's intro, I think what people are saying was when you get to the Lake of the Nine with the boat, is I feel like that's when the game, narratively and gameplay-wise, introduces enough stuff for you that you're kind of hooked at that point. I think everything up until then is maybe an hour or two, so it's not like 50 hours. It's not Final Fantasy 13. Oh, it gets really good 50 hours in.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you have a quiet intro and then stuff gets really serious, and it just kind of keeps getting better and better and better from there on. Before this, I fought my first really, really, really big boss battle, which felt very much like a God of War battle, but in way more interesting ways other than just go up to him and do your combo until he's dead.
Yeah.
So... It's really incredible, and it has surprised me at every turn. I think the game is way bigger than I had any idea, and I certainly don't want to spoil why, because I had no idea that stuff was in there. I like the inclusion of the Norse mythology. It's nice to see them deal with it. It's like Assassin's Creed, where it's like, okay, cool, I get to learn something more about... I always liked Norse mythology. It's always been really great. And to get more cool stuff in there is great. It's all great.
Yeah.
This is a really great game. And I think when you get to the point where I am at in the game, it's sort of like, yeah, this seems like the game to beat in 2018.
That's what I'm hearing. Let's not forget Spider-Man comes out this year.
Yeah, I'm I'm not as interested in Spider-Man as I probably should be, but I feel like the same thing that happened with God of War is going to happen with Spider-Man, where it's like, I don't really care about it. Ooh, 10 out of 10 from everyone. Okay, I guess I'll pre-order Spider-Man. You know, like, it is an Insomniac game, and I love their games, so I know that there's going to be some level of it being a quality game, but God of War is just really great. It's, to me, it's one of, like Horizon Zero Dawn, like, it has to be on your list of games. I'm going to pick up a PS4, and here are the short list of games I have to play before I play anything else.
Yep.
And I won't talk more about it, because I am genuinely worried about spoiling something that is potentially bigger later, or something that someone doesn't know about, but so far, I don't have anything to complain about other than, you know, the dumb boat controls a little bit weird, but who really cares?
Well, that is very much good news.
Yeah. But that's all I played this week, and we've been recording for a while, so let's take a break.
Yep.
I saw Louise got up and wandered over to... She has to make sure she doesn't get bed sores.
Yeah, she got up, she spun around, because she was having a nightmare. That's why I turned around and looked at her a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
She was doing the whole twitchy thing. But I'm just going to run to the bathroom really quick.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone in chat. Let's look at news stories here.
I'm standing up. I'm not going anywhere.
StarCraft player holds out against overwhelming Zerg swarm. I'm okay. Oops, I'm getting the ghostly lighting here. All right, let's check Reset Era to see if there's any breaking news. There's a post that's titled, "The new God of War feels like the second coming of Resident Evil 4. Why? What? Consistent pacing, tight mechanics and crowd control, the sense of a journey." Louise is... I'm going to put Louise on the stream here for a minute while Moon's gone. She can entertain us by waking up and stretching. State of Decay 2 or Detroit Become Human, which may exclusive are you more excited for? State of Decay 2. Like, what? That's not even a question. Did she sneeze? Final Fantasy 13 is not great, but Saber's Edge might be the best boss music in the series. Final Fantasy 13 has an incredible soundtrack overall. It's one of the best Final Fantasy soundtracks of all time. People talking about the PS5 still? Good God, guys. Yakuza 6, which I'm very much looking forward to starting.
It's only me, you big soft ass.
That was a really good meow.
Yeah.
Launch PS4 Pro fans very loud when playing God of War. No shit. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that's what happens to the console when you play 4K stuff.
Yep.
Like Ni no Kuni 2 or Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people say it sounds like a jet engine.
Yeah, I mean,
Brad Schumacher's wife started calling it God of Wind.
Nice. It would probably be better if I was playing it on favor performance, but the game looks so fucking good, there's no way I can take it off of...
favor graphics.
Yeah, favor resolution.
See, I'm right back. You don't have to look so
Genie,
upset.
we're not going to say shit for you, sorry. Yeah, between Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War, like, I'm sort of grumpy that I don't have a 4K TV.
Understandably.
Yeah. Because, man, at
Between
1080p with
and
super
Horizon.
sampling, like...
Between God of War and Horizon, I'm kind of pissed I don't have a PS4 Pro.
Yeah. I'm also sort of grumpy that God of War came out now because I really want to play Yakuza 6. Really, really badly. It's in my entertainment stand, waiting for me to be ready.
Speaking of games that are on my must buy when I get a PlayStation 4.
Yeah. Yakuza 0.
Mm-hmm. 0, 5, Kiwami, whatever they're all called.
Kiwami 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so much. The thing is, like, I have to finish God of War before it gets spoiled for me, and
Yep.
I wanted to talk about it when it was fresh, because we don't always, especially lately, like, we sort of don't always get a chance to talk about fresh games through, you know, myriad reasons. And it's sort of nice for the show to be on the bleeding edge for a little bit.
Yeah.
I gotta drag Moonpier's thing here on the screen. Luis's face, you're just giving like the best resting bitch face over there.
That is her default face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I got a couple of texts while I have 7 texts while I was talking about God of War. Oh yeah, my parents are coming in town starting tomorrow. Uh-huh. Yep. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Sure thing. Okay. Going through the usual Irish stuff of, oh, I'm so sorry, my house is really dirty. Oh, don't worry about cleaning it. It doesn't really matter. Oh, no, that's okay. We're not really going to. Frantic cleaning half an hour before they come here.
Mm-hmm. It's a constant joke between me and Jess. If we know her mother's coming over, there's like 2 fucking days of solid cleaning beforehand. Yep. If she just comes over of her own accord, it's like, well, you fucking deal with it. You didn't tell us you were coming over.
Yeah, like, you just popped over, so, like,
all
everybody's dining room table is just full of shit, so...
Mm-hmm. Every Friday, I clean ours off. Every single one.
I've got to get into that. What I really need to do is I need to start throwing stuff out that's been sitting there for, like, a month. We don't need it. We're not going to use it. It's been sitting there under stuff.
Like, Friday is my get as many chores as I can do, get done day. So, like, I get home from work on Friday, it's like laundry day. It's fucking table cleaning. It's fucking, you know, everything I can clean. Or
relax for the rest of the weekend.
Exactly, because I don't want to do shit on a Saturday and I don't want to do shit on a Sunday. So it's like, I want my 2 days of relaxing. That's going to go straight out the fucking window now, because I'll probably be back on 6-day weeks for the foreseeable future. It's funny because literally we got swamped on Friday, and I said to my colleague, I was like, what's the bet? He comes in and says, don't worry about that, you can just come in tomorrow and do it.
Yeah.
Talking about coming in on Saturday, and I was like, I ain't coming in tomorrow. He walks in, he's like, why are you worried about it? Just come in tomorrow. You know, you can just come in tomorrow. Just like, no.
You owe me $5.
I'm going to stay behind tonight and work late to get it done today, because I ain't fucking coming in tomorrow.
If not, you have like that little rain cloud over your head, which is like, come Monday, I got to deal with that thing.
Mm-hmm. And then it became a case of, well, I don't mind coming in this upcoming Saturday, but then I realised, I'm thinking to myself over the weekend, I was like, now we've got tickets to Infinity War at midday on Saturday.
Yeah.
I ain't missing that.
That's a national holiday.
He's made somebody work before when they had tickets to go to the movies, and if he tries to make me work when I've got tickets to go see that, I'm going to say to him, dude, I waited 10 fucking years for this shit. Yeah. You ain't got a chance in hell. I'm missing this.
I can work before and after, but not during.
I will fucking get up at 7:30 on a Saturday morning and go and do fucking 4 hours of work.
Yeah.
As long as I'm in the movies by 12, I don't fucking care.
Yep. You will not stop me.
No.
Oh, man. All right, well, we've been recording for a while. Are you ready to wrap this thing up?
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of April 23rd, 2018. Adventure Time Pirates of the Enchiridion comes out for the PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Okay.
I really want there to be a good Adventure Time game. And I really like this to be... It's so rife with just possibilities for making a great game, and they haven't.
I've never even seen a single episode of Adventure Time.
I really like Adventure Time. It's just really... It's really fun, and it's really great.
Yeah, it seems to be one of those shows. Kid shows, but also for adults.
Yeah, yeah. South Park The Fractured But Whole comes out on the Switch. I'd say as long as the frame rate and everything runs fine on there, that's probably a pretty great place to play it.
Yeah.
It was a good, not as good as the first one, but still a great game. I didn't finish it and go like, yeah, screw that game, whatever.
Do we do that with any game?
Not lately. I don't think we've played like a real true bad game in a real long time.
No, that's true.
Games have been pretty good. Well, plus we had 2017 where like literally every, double A or higher game that was coming out was incredible.
Yeah, the blessing of the sevens.
Yeah, exactly. Last but not least, The Swords of Ditto comes out on PC and PS4. It's sort of like a Legend of Zelda co-op roguelike.
Okay.
Which looks...
I was expecting a pink gloopy Pokemon, to be honest.
No, that'd be great. I think it's published by Devolver, so it's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah, they seem to have pretty good taste.
Yeah, pretty good track record. All right, let's move on to news stories. Sort of have an opposite news story here this week. We're going to talk about Elite Dangerous's fuel rats again because they're incredible.
Yes.
This time, they needed the help.
Oh, wow. I don't even know this story. I didn't get a chance to look at the show notes. Tell me all about it, Boston.
So, I'm not going to understand a lot of this.
Okay.
I guess somebody sort of screwed them, and they ran out of fuel pretty far away. They said, in Fuelum, the home station for many fuel rats has been UA bombed and services are shut down. Anyone that is willing and able, we request meta alloys to be delivered. Our thanks in advance to anyone who can help. 07.
So that sounds like... It sounds like they use an in-game station basically as one of their bases of operations, and it is possible to damage those bases. Like, it's possible in-game to do some serious damage to them and have them shut down. And if they're using that as their base of operation...
They sort of got screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying that they're assuming this is some sort of trolling, but a concerted effort was made to sell heaps upon heaps of Theragoid sensors, which show up as unknown artifacts to the radar, to Wilhelm Vision Station, one of the fuel rat's primary outposts. Enough of this UA bombing was done in a short enough time that the station's systems started malfunctioning, threatening an automatic shutdown until repairs could be carried out, artifacts could be contained safely.
No, okay, so they didn't actually bomb them. They basically...
They overrode the station by putting too much stuff in it?
Yeah, basically every single station in Elite Dangerous has an interconnected web of trading. So... if you buy fuel from one station, it takes away from that station's capacity of fuel, and when you sell it to a different one, it increases that capacity. It has an on-the-fly updated supply and demand.
Gotcha.
So if you find a high technological place, they usually need stuff like gold and ores and refinery stuff. So the industrial place is a really good place to get cargo from to sell it to a high-tech place because they need it to produce their high-tech stuff. So it has
demand.
It has a very living market, and if certain things can cause issues with them, and it sounds like basically they've taken advantage of what it's probably like just something as simple as like a buffer overflow that you see from speedrunners, where they take advantage of something to break it.
Probably trying to troll.
It sounds exactly like what's happened to them, and the station's going to shut down because there's too many of these things on board, which means they need to be dealt with safely according to the game's internal logic. So the station is shut down because of that. That's a debag move, considering who the fuel rats
silver
are.
lining here is that they apparently needed a whole bunch of meta alloys, which this article says are very expensive and heavy construction materials that people just need to bring there, and it sounds like under normal circumstances you would not let them go for any reason whatsoever. But thankfully, within minutes of that post being put up on Twitter, there were a ton of people that went to the help of the fuel rats and brought their meta alloys out to the station to help help recover and safely bring HQ back.
That tells you the goodwill of the fuel rats. Like,
Yeah.
people might not be members, but people have goodwill for them if they're willing to do that.
The helpers need help. Let's do it.
Within minutes as well is the best part of that. It's like, oh, they have made a lasting impression with a lot of people.
Well, and you know that, like, probably a lot of people saw that tweet and they're like, I have to go, I have to get on Elite Dangerous, and I have to help the fuel rats. And that's awesome.
Yep.
So,
oh, that's great.
2 thumbs up for the internet being good and the fuel rats continuing to be awesome.
Yes.
Last news story here. I'm going to cut out a couple news stories because we're sort of running long on time. This is the Police 2 just got a new gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
Which is sort of funny for this game. I laughed when I was like, yeah, gameplay trailer. Oh, they're putting in turn-based XCOM style battles. Okay.
Yep.
So there's more gameplay. I feel the same way as Moon's Noise from just a minute ago, where it's like, yeah, that's cool, but maybe not what I'm in This Is the Police for.
Yeah, I'm torn because on one side it kind of makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
it adds an additional layer to that gameplay loop of that game, but at the same time, like, do I really need to? But from what I understand, it's kind of optional.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know if it is or not. I've just heard scuttlebutt that it might be a case of if you want to play it, you can.
Yeah.
If not, you don't. But I'm really torn. I will have to wait and see until I'm actually playing the thing to see if I like what they've done to it or not.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
either way, I'm probably still going to get it day one.
Yeah, I'm still going to get it day one at the very least to support the team. But, you know, part of my worry is it's going to make this game be way bigger and way longer, which is awesome. But on the other hand, I liked how relatively chill the first game was. That was a huge part about why I liked it. I'm making some decisions. I'm listening to a bunch of jazz music, and you know, this will make it more of a quote-unquote game, which I don't really want to say because I hate when people say, like, where's the gameplay? But, like, this is going to make it way more of a... When someone who maybe doesn't play a lot of experimental games or indie games looks at it, they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's a video game. It's like XCOM, which is probably a positive and a negative. But yeah, I'm still really excited. It's coming out later this year is still the release date window, but as soon as I can pre-order that, yep, I'll be doing that. So I'm excited. All right, let's move on to questions. Servo on Discord says, soon we'll see the release of Defiance 2050, an updated version of a game released about 5 years ago about a television show that was canceled 3 years ago.
I was about to say, is that the MMO I'm thinking of?
I think so, yeah. We also, in the past few years, had Quantum Break, a game with a television show basically built into it. Can you think of any previously released shows that a game tie-in could possibly work out for? Example, a Magnum PI detective/agent game or a Cheers bar management sim. Magnum PI, like Phoenix Wright, would be really great.
How about Magnum PI This Is the Police?
Sure, yeah. I would actually... Have you ever seen that show, Psych?
I have not. I know the gist of it. Isn't it like a really analytical guy pretends to be psychic?
Yeah. I think that would be really great as like a Telltale game.
Choose your own adventure. Yeah,
like you're investigating the environment, you're sort of having fun discussions, and...
You're just saying that because you just really like the new Batman game.
I do, and I really like Psych. That's just a really fun show.
I think a really good mix would be Dexter with Hitman.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be good.
You be the serial killer trying to contain all of these crimes from your family and the police.
Yeah, it'd be great if they like took Hitman one level further, where it's like you also have to clean up the scene and dispose of the body. Like you have to do the full 9 yards. Let's not have like a surgeon simulator mini game or anything. Like let's not go that far where it's like, now chop up the body, 30 seconds.
Yeah, just get into the clean room.
Yeah, exactly. Man, those first 4 seasons of Dexter were so good.
Oh, yeah. That's an incredible show.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, my biggest issue is all of the things I tend to love like die on the vine really early.
Yeah.
You look at things like Firefly, that would do fantastically in a game like Elite Dangerous, except single player.
Yeah.
But then you've also got like Stargate Universe about exploring the outer reaches of space. Is it also a fantastic one?
Yeah.
Space Above and Beyond, another great sci-fi show with aliens in it.
I mean, someone could make a good Star Trek game. That would be a nice change of pace.
Isn't that what the MMO is supposed to be?
Yeah, I guess the MMO is good, but I'm thinking more like a single-player sort of experience.
The question is then do you make it with the main cast, or do you make it as a tertiary kind of cast?
Oh, I'd say like a tertiary sort of thing. Like I think you don't feature any ship or crew that has been in the show or the movies. I think you have like
you don't do the Enterprise, you do the Valhalla.
Yeah, exactly. That could be pretty cool.
I'm trying to think now of other stuff. I mean,
what other show do someone could make a good Adventure Time? Basically, what's so crazy about Adventure Time is basically you just make a Zelda game out of Adventure Time and you make a really great game. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
Oh, no. Okay. What's I can never remember the name of it. The co-op cooking game that me and my wife played. I can't remember the name of it.
Overcooked.
Yes. Give me Overcooked mixed with Bob's Burgers.
I thought you were gonna say with Kitchen Nightmares. You just had Gordon Ramsay being like, "That's trash." And it's like, I'm trying, Gordon.
Give me like Bob's Burgers mixed with Overcooked, except instead of controlling one person, like you might be Bob, and you've got to stop Linda from having a drink, and you've got to get Gene to go and do his dancing, and you've got to get Louise to help.
Yeah, you have to manage the whole thing.
Exactly.
Oh man, that'd be. Actually, there's that Steam game, Cook Serve Delicious.
So I've never played that, so maybe something more like that.
Oh, it's very much like you just made a burger, someone just backed up the bathroom, you got to go over and you got to plunge it real quick, and then you got to go back over to... That could be pretty cool. Someone go do that.
Give me the Bob's Burgers license with all of those people.
Yeah. Man, that'd be great. Okay, so Bob's Burgers, Cook Serve Delicious is probably our vote.
Oh, Archer and Hitman. Because Archer doesn't care.
That'd be really great just to see how wrong it would go.
Yes. Give me the tactile neck.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great. Maybe that's the choice too. I guess anything with H. John Benjamin in it.
Yep, I was going to say anything.
Any of his characters in a game. All right, let's move on to our next question here from Jamal Coast. Sorry, he's Coast Jamal in chat, and I get his Discord name switched up. Being an adult now, and some of us even parents, I mean, parents, but maybe not adults, do you catch yourself still buying games for which you actually have no time to play? I personally have a stack of games which I haven't touched because, well, life gets in the way. But for some reason I keep buying them. Can you relate? I just bought a copy of Titan Quest that I'm not going to be able to get to in a really long time, but it was $15, so yes.
I have 300 games installed and 200 ready to install on my Xbox One alone. That doesn't even touch Steam or the potential down the line Switch/PS4.
Yeah, I mean you're the undisputed king of this.
Maybe. It doesn't help that I have a wife who buys everything like day one as well.
I've gotten a lot better lately because I canceled my GameFly subscription. I just wasn't like the game sales lately, even for digital stuff, is some of the stuff is so cheap that it doesn't make sense right now to spend $7 or $8 a month to then get a game for $15 when my PlayStation Plus will get me that game digitally right now for $10.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean that's the best thing about with me and Jess. Like, it's one of the reasons my game counter is so high than hers, is because there's games that she flat out will not play. So she just if I buy them, she uninstalls them, whereas I will play everything.
You'll
which
at least
is
try
a positive and a negative, because I have much higher difficulty uninstalling something without having done my due diligence.
Yeah.
So I end up with 300 games installed, and she's got, I think, 195, because she knows what she likes. She plays it, and then when she's had enough, she uninstalls it.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, well, now I've got 50,000 more games to play. I'm glad you bought these 20 games that I'll play in 2 years, but, you know, it's a long way off.
I feel like I've been getting better lately because my kid is a little bit more independent now. It's not like she's not really as breakable as she was, you know, like when she was 6 months old. So there's a little bit more that I can I can do there, and I feel like I'm really genuinely trying to make an effort where I'm trying to buy a game and pop it in, and that will be the game I'm playing right now. Squeeze as much as I want out of that, and then move on. Like, as soon when that game comes back out of my PS4, it is going on the shelf, and whatever I've done in that game, I'm done with it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do, but my problem is I've got so many games as a service games. We've mentioned it before. Elite Dangerous is not something I'm ever going to uninstall because
I mean, it's like Binding of Isaac for us. It's like it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, but still, it's a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I think we mentioned it last week. It's like Elite Dangerous, Monster Hunter World, Dead by Daylight, Sea of Thieves. I mean, there's just on and on. The State of Decay 2 is coming out soon, and that looks super cool, but you know that's going to have some element of games as a service on it.
Yep, every game does these days. That's part of the problem, is it's my trope phrase now. It's like I don't have the time to play everything I want to play, which is why you will hear me talk about shorter games. It's because, yes, this was an easy 1,000 gamer score, but also it's something new to talk about that I don't have to put 12 hours into.
Well, and I feel like that's been the great thing about this string of games that I'm playing. Like, look at Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and the Yakuza series. The only piece of DLC that those games have, like God of War, I don't know if it'll have DLC. Horizon got one story DLC, and the Yakuza games get like 7 or 8 pieces of DLC that are like free in-game joke items, and that's it. So like as soon as I'm done with those, like that's what's really attractive to me about single-player games. I can pop it in, I can play a whole bunch and be done when I'm done, and then I don't have to worry about coming back, you know, for something else down the line, because I'm done. I'll
be honest, like I miss single player games like a lot. Like AC Origins was a revelation to me because it was a nice long single player game, but it was like a 40-hour single player game. It wasn't.
You had that 1,000 gamer score goal in mind. It's like I just have to do all of this and I'm good.
And it was fantastic all the way through. And then I look at things like Elite Dangerous or Warframe. It's like, oh no, just not enough time in the world.
Yeah. Late Elf in Discord has a follow-up on the last question. As a parent, have you migrated more towards mobile platforms, Android, iOS, Switch, handheld, as a more viable solution to your I have kids and maybe I can't expose them to this sort of problem? For me, the only thing that I'm really worried about my kid being exposed to right now is swearing. Just because she imitates virtually every word that she hears now. That's sort of always been my rule, which is crazy when people get an attitude with me when I tell them not to swear around my kid. They're like, oh, really? It's like, really?
Yeah.
You can't lock it down for a hot 10 minutes? Like, anywho. But other than that, like, she doesn't really notice a lot of the rest of the stuff. So like playing God of War in front of her, I'm not too worried about that right now, because usually she's watching Moana anyway, and when she's watching something like that, it's just like this stare in the screen, like, oh, the colors, the singing. So something like God of War, where I'm just a large dude that has ashes rubbed all over him. So he's slowly moving through a dead forest. Not as exciting. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's a case of when I need to be very careful playing Monster Hunter World, because my children just are obsessed with the palicos.
Yes.
Because they get so distracted by them. And the eldest of the two, Sherlock, he is particularly attracted to the Binding of Isaac because he likes the way balls move on the screen.
Ah, yeah.
So, for those, if you haven't seen it, you should go see the video my wife posted of Sherlock being atrocious while I'm trying to do my daily on Isaac.
Just hunting it down. Yeah.
Spoilers for anybody who's not familiar. I don't have kids, so not a question relevant to me. I do have 2 cats.
Yeah. My daughter actually the other day, when I fired up Pinball Arcade, I had it on screen where I was like ready to hit X to start Medieval Madness, and she was up there smacking the TV trying to hit the X button on it. And I was like, oh man. And I told my wife I was sort of missing CRT TVs, because with these TVs, like, she could, they have no idea of strength, so she could just like put her fist through a TV. I really miss CRT TVs where it's like you can just beat the hell out of that thing, like do whatever you want.
I think it sounds like it's almost time for you to get a PS4 controller and just take the batteries out of that thing.
Yeah.
Because you're getting really close to that age, it sounds like, where it's time for, you're playing it, I swear.
Yeah, I have this PS4 controller here that's wired up to my PC. Sounds like but I don't think it's synced to any controller console right now. That might be the good one. Because unfortunately, PS4 controllers have an internal battery and not external ones. Which
take the back off, take the battery out, problem solved.
Moon, I ain't got the time. I need to. My wife bought a used keyboard at work, and the more I use it, the more like this block of keys is sort of not bouncing back as quickly. So I just need to like take the keyboard out and see what's going on. I don't know when the hell I'm going to do that. Those screws in the laptops are like a millimeter long. My kid's just going to eat one of them.
It'd be a quick transition. You don't have to worry about it. It's a tiny little thing.
Yeah, just, in one end, out the other.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's all of our questions this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for writing in, and that's our episode. We're going to end on my kid eating screws. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. All the links are on the right-hand side of the page, including the link to the Discord server. Don't forget, this upcoming Game Club game is Shovel Knight. Go play it. It's really great. Follow us on all the live stream services, especially YouTube and Twitch. Subscribe there. It will let you know when we go live. Patreon, as I said, the new episode of Old Dog New Flicks comes out this Friday, the 27th, episode 2. If you join now, you'll already have access to episode 1, and you'll get access to episode 2. Thank you very much, Moonpier, for reminding me that I should tag stuff going forward. So I'm going to do that with a bunch of these shows. So since, as Moon said, the Patreon UI is hot garbage.
Yep.
Yes, I will. I will endeavor to tag all that stuff so you can actually find the episodes you're looking for. I think that's it. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Don Badass says, missed the show. Are you liking God of War Boston? 2 thumbs up, plus 2 thumbs from Moonpier, so 4 thumbs up.
Wait, are you co-opting my thumbs for your own review?
I am. God of War is really good.
I kind of wish co-opting my thumbs was in the actual show now.
Thank goodness it isn't. All right, I have a bunch of titles. I think you probably do too. So let's start with you.
Yep, I got a couple. Let's do the old Can Moon understand his own handwriting test.
Aha.
Chickens like me. I don't need this, man. Which I just love the way you said that. I was like, I don't need this right now, man.
I don't need this, man.
Finding the grind that suits you. I'm not sure if that's a veto or not.
No, I don't think that's a. It's too good to veto.
Okay. Enterprise versus fun. It's tall and it's got a very long neck.
Yeah.
Where's the gameplay? Give me the tactile neck and my kid eating screws.
Oh man. I'm writing down. It's tall and has a very long neck. That one's good. I have Pimp Your Far Cry. Drug-infused bird area. Cheat, cheat, cheat. Because I like that when you were talking about screen cheating, like cheat, 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 cheat.
Yep.
Chickens Like Me. You Woke Up Luis. Today's Been a Busy Week.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Today's Been a Busy Week is really good. Don Bay asks, are you playing it on hard? Because I am, boy oh boy. Hell no. I'm playing it on normal. I just got through ultra hard on Horizon. Giant Dragons and Tiny Dudes. And Finding the Grind That Suits You. Which I sort of feel like has to be the title.
It has to be, really, doesn't it?
I'm going to circle it. I gotta say, one of the few weeks where all of these are winners.
Yeah.
I'm having a good week. Today was a good week.
Yes, today was a good week.
My favorite Dr. Dre song.
Today was a good week.
Yeah. Alright, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 548 for April 23rd, 2018. Finding the grind that suits you.
It's all about the grind you prefer.
Would you like to know more?
Yes, I would.
Alright, thank you so much everyone for watching. We really appreciate it. Ton of you peeps hanging out with us again this week. I hope to see you all, every one of you, next week. Bye!
Bye-bye, folks.